I was in geometric in an engineering software company, so I have a fair idea about what goes in manufacturing, in manufacturing software, enterprise softwares, and then I started into my own startup. So I have a fair idea about various problems that startups face. So based on this experience and based on talking with these people, when we started D10X, we wanted to have our core principles that we'll follow. And these principles are from three perspectives. One is the perspective of the company or the founder. Other is a perspective of the customers. And third is a perspective of the employees. So we'll go through these principles. But as you will find, what I want to point out is these principles are not just for software. These are applicable to any kind of company now. So even if you are doing a manufacturing or a IoT or a hardware software mix and all these kind of things, the principles will still be adopted. So let's go to first principle. And can you go to the first principle? Yeah. So our first principle is we'll start making profit when our customer starts making revenue. And there is a very specific reason why we started with this. It's because when we go to typical, hello, can you hear me? Yeah. So when we go to typical software projects company, you either have a choice of man month or you have a choice of fixed cost. And whichever choice you take as a customer, the software development company has no skin in the game, in the sense that they don't really care you succeed or you fail. Right? As long as they get their money, it's done. So which means they can show you a demo which says, oh, it works, and you test it and you say, yeah, great. And it works for 50 people. The moment your customer starts going to 100, 200, 500, things starts becoming slow because nobody has thought of scaling. And it's not their business that will suffer. They will still get paid. It's your business that will get suffer. The bigger problem is you don't realize it till you get the software in your hand. You have already paid for them or paid for their services, and then you realize it's not working out. So we have situations where we faced where a few of the D10X customers actually went through three such partners, so-called partners. So we want to be true partner. So we put a condition on ourselves that we'll break even. Okay, we'll charge customers, make profit when customer starts making revenue. And if he doesn't start making revenue, then our profit will be really low. So then we have a skin in the game. Then we will look really from customer's point of view and says, oh, if I suggest this, my customer's revenue will increase twofold, and which also means our profit will also increase. So that's our key thing. We want to have a skin in the game. And the way we do that is on a very basic principle that we start making profit when our customer starts making revenue. And then can we go to next commandment? Okay. So we want to be good. We want to be fast at a fair cost. We will not always be cheap. Now, when I say cheap, if you say like, what is your man month cost? Probably will not be cheap. But what is your total development cost? If you look at a say 1 year cost or a 2 year cost, you will find that we are definitely the best supplier around because we deliver quality, we deliver functionality, and we deliver it at a fair cost so that we don't burn or unnecessary stretch your cash flow. Next principle, we take quality very, very seriously. So that is why it says that we will not ship shit under any circumstances. Even if customer says that is fine, I'm okay for a bad quality at this point, we don't ship shit. Because we feel that, right? So what is a samskar? If we do something bad, it nags to our mind that no, we are not. This is not the way. This is not correct. Quality is our samskar. If we don't deliver quality, it continuously gives a nagging feeling to us. Fourth principle is we deliver releases and updates frequently to end user. So we want to put the latest things as early as possible into the user's hand. And this is mainly to get user feedback. And you will find that multiple business roles actually suggest it, but very few deliver it. Companies like Google or Amazon make 5,000 feature updates a day into their software. A typical project company will do one release a month. Okay? Which means if you want to get a feedback, you have already wasted 1 month of development efforts. And after 1 month of development effort, you may end up actually dropping that feature or doing lots of bug fixes. One of the way you can check is ask if you have outsourced your software development to someone, and if you find a spelling mistake in your website, ask them how much time it will take to fix it. A lot of time you will get 1 day, 2 day, 5 day kind of answers. We usually did it in like minutes. Okay. And it makes a hell lot of difference. If you read the book named Creativity Incorporated, this is a book by CEO of Pixar, Disney and Pixar. And Pixar has a reputation of delivering 10 consecutive hits, animation hits, highest grossing. And the way they did it was they got feedback every week from their internal team, and then they tweaked till it became perfect. And one of the principles they followed was and I'll come to it slightly later, but sometimes preventing bugs has much higher cost than allowing the bugs to go and quickly fixing it. So we try to balance this. We try to be careful so that bugs are not added, but our systems are designed in such a way that if bug is there, we'll be able to fix it quickly and deliver the new release in customer's hand. And to do that, we need to deliver very frequently. That's our fifth principle. Fourth principle. We focus about quality. I already told you we will not ship shit. And we deliver quality rather than fixing bugs. So that's one of our key principle. And we teach our developers very, very seriously to prevent bugs, to code in such a way that bugs are detected as early as possible rather than as late. Okay, we build software in such a way that even when we make production release, bugs are reported directly from production server to us. A lot of times we have seen that customer says, oh, one of my customer faced this bug, and the development team says, no, we are not able to reproduce it, and the bug remains in the system. We proactively add tools so that bugs are automatically detected and fix it. In if you are any of you are mechanical engineers, typically there is a design called jigs and fixtures. So the reason we do jigs and fixtures is because we want to ensure that final releases or the final product we make is fast, it has good quality, and it has low variations. And the jigs and fixtures allow you to do that. So we do develop exactly same kind of jigs and fixtures in software. The next step we are careful about is we start small. Okay, we don't start with a 50 people, 20 people team. We start with a 3 people team, and that 3 people team develops your core. Think about it when you are making a building, the initial architecture team who is designing your building is really small, maybe 4 or 5 people. So if you suddenly start with the construction with 500 people without a detailed and initial design and framework in place, you can imagine what kind of chaos it will create. Exactly same thing happens when you start with a big team. But now, if you are paying for man month, then your benefit, what is of your benefit and what is of the software development team's benefit is at odds. Yeah. Because you're paying on man month, bigger the team, bigger the revenue the software company makes. Okay? But you lose more cash flow, right? But at the same time, if you start with 10 people team or a 15 people team, initial code design gets all confused and the chances of failure increase. So we are very careful to start small, create a strong foundation, and then build a 100-story building on top of that foundation. Then our initial speed may be slow because there are only 4 people working on it. But once your foundation is strong, we can deliver lot faster. And I think every software company or every startup grows through this phase where you have a very small core team and then you grow as needed. The problem is sometimes you get funding and all of a sudden you grow 100 times, and that can cause lots of problems. We nurture what we call 3 Ps. And these 3 Ps are good processes, good practices, and good policies. You know processes, manufacturing process, development process. We document it, we put a lot of thought on it. But sometimes documented process and what people are actually following, that is the practices, diverge a lot. So we focus on both. We say you have to define good processes and we have to define and follow good practices. And following good practices means we spend a lot of time teaching our team good practices, coaching them, helping them, correcting their mistakes, even allow them to make mistakes to certain extent so that they learn from it. Then we define good policies. And when I mean policies, these are typically like what is your HR policy, leave policy, and all kinds of stuff. So there also our policy, any policy in it's our philosophy that any policy you define, there will be few people who will take undue advantage of that policy. And we discover one guy taking undue advantage, we add more restrictions on it, and in the end, we end up punishing the other 99 guys who are actually following those policies. So we are very cautious about defining the policies, and that is why we have a principle that our 3 Ps are one for 1 P. Our processes, practices, policies are for our people. And when I say our people, they are for our customers as well as for our employees, and we need good policies for them. So you need policies which benefit them and not to hinder their work. Our ninth principle is what we call fail fast. Now it goes in various ways. If you have seen, Toyota is lowest cost manufacturer but very high quality of cars, and they have a philosophy that when they are manufacturing cars, anybody in the assembly line can stop the assembly line. Okay. So they stop the assembly line, fix the bug, and continue the assembly line rather than convert car. Because of that, their total cost is lot less. And we apply this concept of fail fast to software. So we try to, our systems are designed in such a way that bugs are detected early, problems are detected early, and they are fixed early. Because the problems are detected early, the cost of fixing those problems are pretty low. For example, you are designing a IoT iotas, you have some test pins on that. And when you're manufacturing it, a small initial board itself, you detect, oh, the input that I have received and the chip I have received is bad. I will not put it in my product. Okay. You have saved a lot of cost on the downstream assembly line. So that is a principle we follow consistently, and we advise the startups which are working with us also to follow it. So when we start with a startup, we always create what is called as a MVP, a minimum viable product. So we create a bare minimum features for that product. We show the live product to the end user. We ask them to use it. We collect their feedback. And sometimes it happens that even though it seems like a good idea initially, but turns out that people are not ready for it yet. So rather than spending a year and the 40-50 lakh rupees on that idea, we can create a MVP in initial 2-3 months with 2-3 people. Your cost is lot low, and then we can decide you want to continue or not continue. And if you want to continue, at that point you really have a working product which you can take to venture funds for funding. So this is really key to deliver good quality and the lowest cost, total cost, uh, in terms of for the software. The last step, and this is our philosophy we teach to all our employees, is we reward success, we reward failure. In day-to-day development activities also, they have to take a decision, right? And so that decision can sometimes go wrong. And remember, so we teach people, take a decision. It's okay if it goes wrong sometimes. But if the decision is goes wrong, detect it and fix it as early as possible. Don't sit on the failure. So if you combine the reward success and failure with fail fast, you will find that our uh, chances of success increase a lot, and our cost of failure is drastically reduced. So we say punish inaction. You don't take a decision and you sit on that, we punish that. You succeed or fail, that's fine. Of course, if you continuously fail, then there is some problem and we have to track that. But occasional failure is fine, as long as you control the cost of that failure. Even if you don't control the cost of that failure occasionally, we still help our team members on how do you reduce that cost, how do you fail fast. That is the core philosophy of that we teach to our teams. So I think that's what we follow, and I hope you liked it and at least follow some of the principles. I will urge everyone in the startup business to seriously look at fail fast principle. And if you search on internet for fail fast, and if you go to Paul Graham's website, by the way, Paul Graham is the guy who founded Y Combinator venture fund, and Y Combinator has funded successful startups like Dropbox, Airbnb, and they have a stellar track record of selecting and supporting startups.